Rorik's heart thumped within his chest at the sight of smoke. Rivitor had done far better than Rorik had hoped for. The city of Kibla, once a thriving human metropolis of nearly 100,000 people, now lay in ruins. The merchant quarter, that had once been the heart of trade on the western continent, was now nothing more than smouldering tent poles, broken bodies, and charred cobblestone. The once valiant walls that had withstood attacks from orcs, rival human clans, and beaten back the very storms that plagued this desert land, were now piles of fractured brick and stone. The proud towers that had warned off intruders, now craters and broken pillars. The dragon, Rivitor, once a mighty counselor within the sacred Elder Council of the Ancients, had in one day destroyed what had taken centuries to build. No arrows could pierce his scales, and no shields could stop his flame. He devoured all within his path, clearing the way to the grand, jagged peak beyond the city itself. "Mount Kibla," Rorik said with a throaty laugh. His left hand gripped his wickedly curved sword, and he stepped toward the edge of the cliff upon which he stood, overlooking the destruction. Rivitor still circled the city, picking off survivors with his fire breath and pummeling what remained of King Urkor's castle. Once that bastion of humanity fell, the way to the mountain would be clear. A silvery flash of light appeared to Rorik's left. Without even looking, he knew it was a watcher. Rorik turned to see Roshan, a senior watcher who had started to see the error of his ways. "Roshan," Rorik greeted with a nod of his horned head. "It is in motion," the watcher said. The demon nodded, knowing the watcher was not speaking of Kibla's destruction but of another prize. Nirazan Shanda had set his own traps into play. Those plans might have worked, except for another watcher, one far too stubborn to understand the wisdom behind the Void's rule. Reshem, a watcher under Roshan's supervision, had interfered with Narazan's plans, and he might have thwarted them entirely had Rorik not intervened. "You found the prisoner?" Rorik asked. Roshan gave a nod and held out his right hand. An instant later, a large silvery spear appeared in his hand. "I found Reshem's island. I gave the information to Nirazan. He will free the dark elf known as Griat, and then they will lie in wait for Reshem."